And we're live. Here we are. A new episode or half episode of Cinemaholics. I am your usual co-host, Will Ashton. And so I'm here with two esteemed guests. First, we have my good friend, Matt Serafini. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Will. How's it going?
I'm fine. We also have Chris Sheridan. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
And we are usually the host of Ain't Ogre Till It's Ogre. But we are taking over this either episode or half episode of Cinemaholics to discuss the Minions. Minions, The Rise of Gru. The either fifth film in the Despicable Me franchise or the second film in the Despicable Me spin-off series, however you want to look at it.
It's the fifth film in the Despicable Me universe.
Yeah, there you go. But it is, chronologically, I guess, it's actually technically Despicable Me 2 if you really want to get nitpicky, I guess. If you want to look at, in the way that, the Star Wars prequels are technically 1, 2, 3, and then the original trilogy is 4, 5, 6. This is technically 2, because
you know what?
This
That's
is a
fair.
prequel to the original film. It's leading up to the events that date the first Despicable Me film. So if you really want to get technical, this is Despicable Me 2, and then Despicable Me 1 is Despicable Me 3.
3, right.
And then
right
Despicable Me 2 is Despicable Me 4, and then Despicable Me 3 is Despicable Me 5.
So we're not talking about Lightyear?
So no, we're not. Did you see Lightyear?
I just saw it on Thursday, yeah.
What'd you think about it?
I liked it.
Okay.
It was fine.
I was a little underwhelmed by it. Did you see it, Chris?
Yeah.
No, but I know the whole story and stuff, and I was listening to a podcast where they're like, no 12-year-old would watch this movie and say, I want a toy of that.
It would be more...
Because it sounds really depressing.
They're more likely to get a toy of socks, which makes it very confusing.
Yeah, that was my takeaway as well.
As far as why we'd only have a Buzz Lightyear toy when why wouldn't you have the other cadets or Space Rangers? I mean, and I guess he technically at some point gets Zurg, but sort of by happenstance, right? In the second movie, he just happens to...
Yeah, Andy doesn't get Zurg. They run into Zurg at a toy store. I actually just watched that movie the other night. So.
Okay. I was trying to remember if he got a Zurg at the end of 2.
No, he gets the Roundup gang, but that's it. And the aliens, the 3 aliens.
Okay, but the aliens weren't in Lightyear. I was surprised about that. I thought they were the Pizza Planet.
I was wondering. Yeah, I kept waiting for a post credit or something, but no, nothing with the aliens. I guess spoiler alert.
If there's ever going to be a Lightyear 2, I don't think. But if they had made one, I was hoping they'd go to actual Pizza Planet.
Yeah, that could be fun.
And it'd be this, really obvious, in the movie, product placement thing, and then you saw the aliens or whatever. What were you going to say, Chris?
I was going to say, hasn't Minions done more in one weekend than Lightyear did in its entire run? Lightyear basically just tanked.
That's pretty much
accurate, yeah.
I mean, Lightyear is still in theaters, but as of now, Minions on its opening weekend has well outgrossed Lightyear, and it's however long, 2 or 3 weeks it's been in theaters. And it's on its way to outgross, I think, most of the movies that come out this summer, including maybe Doctor Strange, which is surprising. So it's basically Tom Cruise and the Minions are saving the cinema at this point. That's the reality of the situation right now.
The marketing for Lightyear was really weird, though. It was almost non-existent.
Oh, it was existent. It was just very confusing, I think. People were just
Well, it's kind of like it's kind of like the marketing for The Nun, where it's they basically only use the one little handful of footage for all of the marketing.
Okay.
From what I could tell, or what I saw, and it's just you're going into Lightyear, I don't know what this movie is. After reading about what the plot is for that movie, I'm wow, I didn't get any of that from the...
I thought that
you think it's a space adventure, and then it's nope, it's an existential drama where Buzz Lightyear is going forward in time and leaving all his loved ones behind, and they're growing up and living their lives, and maybe they're dead or something.
It's basically it's Pixar's Interstellar, ultimately. Yeah,
more or less. Yeah, yeah. I was kind of surprised because the first trailer made it just look like it was going to be a cool space adventure. I guess this is It Ain't Ogre presents a mini discussion on Lightyear. Sorry, John.
It would be really
but
funny
anyway.
if we just spent the rest of this review talking
And
about
with
Lightyear.
Chris not having
Right.
seen it either.
Right.
Anyway, just to throw in though, it's the first trailer made it look like it was just going to be like a cool space sci-fi movie, which I was like, hell yeah, Pixar doing sci-fi, that sounds great. You know, Wall-E's wonderful. And then the second, and then they released the trailer where it's not that it like doesn't give the plot, it's that it gives an incorrect plot. It shows him do the thing, and then when he gets back, she's like, oh, I'm the granddaughter. He's like, how long have I been gone? And it's like, having seen the movie, a totally different contextual scene where the cat is saying 60 years, and that is not. So I was like, oh, okay, so it's that he goes and then comes back and it's just been 60 years and then we go. But it's not that either. It's the incremental of it all, which I watched the documentary on Disney Plus about like the making of it. It was like a half an hour long. And they talk about how that part of it was actually inspired by the pandemic and how like nothing is going on. The only thing that's marking change is that your friends and family are getting older. And
That's horrible.
Right. Well, that's like the like sadness of that. And that made me appreciate the movie a little bit more because I like can relate to it a little bit, you know?
I mean,
we
yeah.
checked?
Yeah, sorry.
Have we checked to see if Andrew Stanton is okay?
I mean,
Because
I
he
forget. I think it's Angus McLean.
Yeah, Angus
Directed-
MacLean, I think, did this
Yeah.
one.
No, but Stanton wrote part of it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and he was responsible for the opening title thing of like, oh, a 12-year-old boy saw this Interstellar movie and wanted to Buzz Lightyear thing.
Yeah.
But then Andrew Stanton's other Pixar movie, or one of the Pixar movies, is Wall-E,
Mm-hmm.
which is also a sci-fi movie with a horribly existential
Yeah.
bent to it.
yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, Wall-E might be my favorite Pixar movie.
I watched
It's my
that,
favorite. Yeah.
It was I watched that movie for the second time like 3 weeks ago, and man, that thing is stellar.
It's it's Interstellar almost.
It is
Yeah.
a little bit.
In a way.
It's like, oh, a robot and a love story.
Yeah,
and
and-
also, the world is ending and there's trash everywhere and there's fat people in space and stuff.
And who could forget? I know Will's been waiting to say this. Andrew Stanton's classic, John Carter of Mars.
Yeah. Well, John Carter.
Just
You
John
mean-
Carter.
Just look, I like John Carter.
I never saw it. I can't speak
It's-
to it.
The joke.
It's a good
Yeah.
movie.
The joke I was gonna make is who could forget Finding Dory.
Right.
yeah.
Did he make that too?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's.
He made that because John Carter failed the box office, and
Yeah,
he
it
was like,
to make up for it.
yeah, he was like,
Okay.
I gotta make another hit. And then I think he didn't direct, but he was involved as a writer for Obi-Wan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he like wrote
Wow.
like the last couple episodes of it, I think.
Interesting.
Anyway,
I was going to say, I was like, hopefully he didn't write the first 4 episodes.
no, I know he was like credited for at least 2 or 3, but they were like towards the back end, I think. I didn't watch
That's
Obi-Wan, so I could be speaking out of turn. But Yeah.
It might surprise you to hear that the last couple episodes are by far the best.
I've heard mostly bad things about Obi-Wan, so I can imagine. I know the
It should
beginning
have
of it
been
was
a movie.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
Why does
it's
your-
not bad,
Yeah.
but it's just not that special.
well, I just heard that it didn't really like justify itself ever because it's like
Right.
because I mean like that's kind of the fault really if you're gonna do an Obi-Wan thing is it's sort of sandwiched in between 2 different trilogies. You
Yeah,
can't,
it's like it's both a sequel to the prequels and a prequel to the
right.
original trilogies. Like by definition, it can't do anything that has too much effect on the universe. So then,
I would
but they should have. It's the Better Call Saul problem, though. They should have made it more of a character drama, and they
Okay.
just
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
I will say it's probably worth watching just for the Obi-Wan Anakin confrontations
yes.
in the last few episodes.
Those are good.
It's really well put together.
I'm
for-
sending
in that
Chris
sense.
a meme. I may have already sent this to you, but
Okay.
if either way, it's funny.
Well, speaking
It
of
is.
prequels, sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, no, I was going to just say like that. Something that always got me about Obi-Wan is that there's a scene in the first episode where 8-year-old Leia or whatever is getting chased by bad guys, and it's a very poorly shot scene because it's these fully grown men chasing after this tiny girl, and they're clearly not putting in any effort to catch her.
Because she's just a little girl.
She's just kind of like running like a little girl
Right.
or whatever, and then but the guy the men are like not
Are they
not trying at all, and they're like running into stuff and getting slapped by branches and whatever.
Oh, okay. I was imagining it as like a Batman, like the '60s Batman thing, where it's like they're running on a screen.
Some
like,
days you just can't get rid of a
Right.
bomb.
well, no. I just meant like
Yeah.
they're like running in front of like a clear like green screen that they're just like.
Oh
going, like,
yes.
No, it's
Yeah.
all in the real thing. Like these guys could catch her in a second if they wanted to, but
Yeah,
instead
if
she's
it was
Yeah.
a green screen, it actually might be better.
she pushes through a bush, and then the guys get caught in the bush, and it's like
Oh, I forgot about that.
foiled once
Yeah.
again.
I do think that's one of the biggest weaknesses of Obi-Wan is that like 3 of the 6 episodes are we gotta save Leia, which there's already a movie about that. It's the original one.
It's like, oh no, she got kidnapped again.
Yeah, but anyway, like
Anyway.
it does make sense that we're going on all these tangents. So much stuff has come out in the last month. There's a
Sure.
lot to talk about.
Anyway,
And so
Yeah.
much stuff happens in Minions: The Rise
And
of
Minions:
Gru.
The Rise
Sure.
of Gru. See, we brought it back.
there we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, so Minions: Rise of Gru, as we mentioned, the 5th film in the series, directed by I think his name's Cal Bada, or let me double check it. It's a guy. He's been like the co-director for a number of the recent Illumination films, but he's not Pierre Coffin. Yeah, it's Kyle Balda.
I
And
just
this is his
saw the
first-
meme.
Oh, okay. It's his first solo effort, and it has Steve Carell reprising his role as Gru up as a child, as well as Russell Brand returning as Dr. Nefario. I believe this is the first time he's been in one of these movies since Despicable Me 2, because for some reason he was like out of it for a while. Like they had to freeze his character in the 3rd movie because they couldn't get him back. There's also Alan Arkin, Taraji P. Henson, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Lucy Lawless, Dolph Lundgren, Danny Trejo, Michelle Yeoh, Julie Andrews, and a bunch of other folks, according to Letterboxd here. And yeah, I mean, well, the obvious question I have for both of you is, were you guys looking forward to this movie, and what is your relationship with these past Despicable Me / Minion films? Let's start with Chris.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, I was looking forward to it. Just I think more tangentially because I was like, oh, I'm going to be on a podcast again with these two men that I dearly love. Otherwise, I probably
Aw.
wouldn't have seen it.
Oh,
But at the same time, as I was in there, I was like, man, a couple observations. I have seen 3, maybe 4 of the Despicable Me universe movies in theaters. And I'm seeing Minions: The Rise of Gru before I'm watching Top Gun: Maverick. So
Oh God, Chris!
well, if you had told me that,
I didn't
I
realize you
would've
haven't
told you
seen that yet.
yeah, I thought you saw that already.
no. So I'm like sitting in this theater. I'm like, man, I haven't seen Top Gun: Maverick yet. But no, in my defense, my mom really wants to see it, so we're trying to coordinate. We can go see it, and our schedules aren't lining up. So like, I'm not going to see it without her. I don't think she's going to like it, but whatever.
Why is that?
Her church friends all really liked it.
Okay.
I think it's going to be too long and loud for her, but whatever.
All right.
Maybe she'll love it. We'll see.
Well,
maybe
we'll
we'll
have
never. Maybe we'll never see it. Maybe I'll just never see it.
No,
Maybe
I'm
we'll-
invested now. I want to hear what Chris's mom thinks.
Yeah,
of
I want Mrs. Sheridan on Cinemaholics to hear her review. Even though we reviewed Top Gun already, I want to hear her review of the film. Get a follow up to this conversation.
Mhm.
But I hope she likes it. I hope it's not too long. I hope it's not too loud for her.
I mean, I think she probably will like it. I mean, a lot of her friends liked it. They like the same things. I mean, and
All
I
right.
think we'll both like it. So we do got to see it soon though, before it's not any longer in the theaters or whatever. So
Well, I'll say this. I don't know if you have to worry about that because it's still doing gangbusters. It's barely had, I don't think it's had more than a 10% drop since it's come out, and that was over a month ago. So,
and it cracked $1 billion, right?
has it cracked $1 billion as of this weekend? I don't know. I didn't check it yet.
I think it did. Yeah, as of a few days ago.
Man. Yeah, I know it's like in the top 20 highest grossing films ever at this point. And it's
Wow.
only continuing to do well. So, undeniably the biggest hit of the summer, one most people didn't anticipate. We're getting off tangent again because I haven't heard Matt's thoughts about the Minions, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like I was going to say something about Top Gun, but I don't remember, and I also feel like I shouldn't. Yeah, Minions. About 6 years ago or 7, I don't remember when Minions came out.
Oh boy.
Was that 2015?
Yeah, the first Minions solo film was 2015.
Wow. So when that came out,
Wow.
oh wow!
Wow.
When that came out, I remember it's funny to think that was 7 years ago, and the Minions were getting old at that point, and now I feel like they've been around even like more than twice that. I don't know, but when did the first Despicable Me come out? 2010.
So yeah, the first one was
10, yeah.
2010. Yeah,
So
I was
we're
going to point
12 years
this out. Yeah, we're 12
Go
years
ahead.
removed from it. But no, I agree with you because I feel like there is this weird thing. I don't know if it's because of the pandemic. I don't know what it is, but there is a weird thing where I remember like when we saw the first Despicable Me movie, because we saw it together.
Mhm.
I think we saw it at advanced screening, if I
No.
recall correctly.
We did not see the first one together.
No, I meant the first Minions movie.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we did see that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the only one of these I think we've seen together.
Yes.
But I was going to say, I remember at that point, people were getting sick of it. Like the reviews were
Mhm.
pretty nasty. People were just like, ugh, how dare these Minions?
Yeah.
What do they think they're doing? Like being the star of their own film. Like they are side players at best. And people were getting
Well,
really
do the-
tired of the commodification of it. What were we going to say, Chris?
I haven't seen an Illumination movie recently besides this one. Do the
Okay.
Minions still show up in the Illumination logo?
Yeah.
In like
yeah, they don't.
non-Minions movies?
They don't always knock it over and turn it into a Minion logo like this one, but yeah, they usually like turn on the light or whatever. Like they're like the Pixar lamp, Luxo
Yeah.
Junior.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, because like a lot of even me, I was like, oh my god, Minions are everywhere.
Mhm. But there is this
But-
weird thing, yeah, where like after Despicable Me 3, they weren't really around much anymore.
Yeah,
And then like they were still doing like shorts and things like that, but like they
Mhm.
weren't really like the main players of anything major
Mhm.
outside of like, like being in the logo for the Illumination movies. And now because of the pandemic, it's like this movie was supposed to come out in 2020. It got pushed back 2 years
Jeez.
at least. And I feel like there's weird resurgence where people feel like, I don't know if it's nostalgia or if it's like an ironic thing or if it's like a genuine sort of like
I have a theory
joy
on it.
again like about seeing these characters because they are like very simple and like things are just so bleak
Mhm.
right now. There's a global pandemic, Roe v. Wade is getting overturned, there's school shootings, all this stuff, and people are just like, Minions, I know what I'm gonna get from this. It's very simple, very sweet, kind of like
Yeah.
Top Gun thing where it's like it's nostalgic but it's also like something new that like I can look forward to. It's like old and new again at once. But what's your theory, Matt?
My theory is that, as you said, this franchise is now 12 years old. So imagine, if you will, there are a bunch of, what would you say is the target audience of this movie? Like kids like 7 years old to 10?
Anyone that's between the ages of 6 through 15 and 55 to 78.
Okay, well, focusing on the former of those groups, kids who are like 6 years old, 7 years old, now those kids are going into their 20s, or like in their late teens. So they are now at an age where they appreciate ironic humor more than they did as kids. So it's almost as if they've come full circle on the Minions. Like originally they liked them genuinely, but now it's like the whole like, oh, it's ironic to like the Minions, but also I have nostalgia from actually liking them. So I think
Right.
it really kind of is a nice dovetail.
I
that
mean,
is- go ahead.
yeah. No, I like that theory because like there is this weird thing where I think people haven't really acknowledged this, but like Despicable Me as a franchise kind of passed the torch from Shrek.
Yes,
Like
I would
Shrek
agree with
ended
that.
in 2010, and like that, like I think it was like the month after Shrek Forever After came out. There was the first Despicable Me movie, and they
Mhm.
had like kind of a similar idea where it's like a villainous sort of character
Mhm.
learns to open his heart and like become a good guy, and that's basically like at the core of what like Shrek is, like a sort of satiric character, someone who like is pushing against the tides, kind of learns to open up and be accepted and learn to eventually love and be loved.
Right.
You said he's a what? What was the first thing you said?
Like a sort of like satiric character, you know what I mean? Like a character who's like
Sartorical? Satirical?
Yeah, like
I don't know the word.
satirical. Yeah,
Satirical?
like I might be.
It sounded like you were saying sad, erotic.
Sorry, no. Maybe I'm making up a word out. If I am, I've been saying that a lot, so I apologize. But like a character who's like very sarcastic, someone who is like very much like rushing against the tides of good taste and all that stuff, and being a villainous character in the first movie, in this case, Gru. Learn to love and be loved, and then there's like these like kind of characters in this case that are like basically designed to be the cutest, most plushy, most like adorable thing in the world to sell toys. Yeah, merchandisable, and have now picked up this weird second life of being the source of memes for jaded or just annoyed Republican ladies on Facebook who are using them as like a way to like voice their air their grievances about random things, but like have a picture of Kevin like doing like the like Pulp Fiction fingers while arguing about something or another. I don't really know where that source of minion memes came from, but in any case, so I think you are right, Matt, that like kind of similar how Shrek in the 2010s became a source of like ironic and nostalgic appreciation. I think that's kind of maybe what's happening with Despicable Me now.
Yeah,
too,
we're entering the era where like probably maybe 3 years from now there will be another podcast like this one where it's some guys in their 20s talking about watching Despicable Me as kids, and the cycle continues.
It's not.
I was going to say,
it's me.
For this movie, it's like how many people saw it because they're like, I need to do a podcast.
Well, us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's the meme where kids are like putting on suits and I saw to the movie
at the theater. I saw plenty of kids wearing like tuxedos. Really? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I wish I could have.
I'm in LA, so it's.
I really. Okay, that makes sense.
That's the hashtag Gentle Minions movement.
Yeah,
I believe it's what it's called.
And people are like going up the escalator with they're sitting with their hands.
Yeah, they're doing
that or whatever. And I guess like
did you?
Apparently, I heard in some theaters like they'll stand up and applaud at random. They'll do a standing ovation for like random bits in the movie.
Yeah. Which I think is a pretty funny
It's the
bit.
ironic, like they're now old enough to appreciate the humor of it.
Well, I think that Morbius was really a turning point for memes. Like, I think it's going to be a thing going forward that companies are going to use memes as a marketing tool.
I mean, Universal has replied to like videos of these kids in suits and stuff, and they're like, "Looks great!" Like they're leaning into it, and also there's theories that all of the Fast and Furious memes last year were a marketing stunt. With all the family memes that were happening when Fast 9 came out last year.
I don't remember those.
Oh, they were.
Are you talking about like the guy like the slew of guys dressed like Dom Toretto? They're going like family. Oh no, not that.
Okay. Well, a little that, but also no. There were a whole ton of memes last summer that were like Mufasa falling into the canyon with the stampede, and then there's Dom holding out his hand, and it's like, we got family. Like there were a whole lot of memes of him like coming into other movies and TV shows and saying something about family.
Wow, so I totally missed that.
Wow,
I missed that. Yeah. But I was gonna say, to Chris's point, I feel like this response to this new Minions movie is like what Sony wanted for Morbius when they brought it back in the theaters. Like they were hoping people would do dumb stuff. I mean, I'll have to censor it, I guess. Dumb stuff like going to the movies in a large crowd in suits, like cheering at random moments. And so like they're like, kind of like racking their brain, like, well, it didn't happen with Morbius, but it happened with Minions, and like I don't know. I mean, and did you guys see the sign in front of that one theater that like apparently like if someone came to their establishment dressed as a suit, they would not allow them entry into Minions Rise of Gru, and people were like, this is 1984 all over again.
What is this, Nazi Germany?
And be like, I'm coming from my father's funeral.
Yeah. We just wanted to laugh.
Minions to laugh.
I just wanted to laugh again.
I don't know. Did you guys sign the speaking of Morbius? Did you guys sign the change.org?
No,
No.
we were just kidding. We were all busy last weekend.
Yeah,
I didn't, but I saw it.
I
I
did.
didn't.
I resurrected my change.org account from 10 years ago.
Amazing.
To sign the bring back Morbius for a third time.
Well, in any case, so
Well, I never finished telling
I was
my
gonna say.
my opinion on these movies.
Oh,
as a
yeah.
whole.
Sorry, go
We
ahead.
are tangent happy this time. But so in 2015, Will and I were going to see the new Minions movie, and like I said, people were already kind of getting sick of them, and I hadn't actually seen any of them. So I watched the first two movies, and then we saw Minions, and I genuinely think the Minions are hilarious. They're so stupid, and I totally get why people hate them too. But if you just look past all that and without the cynicism, they're very much just like simple slapstick humor, and it just works. I don't know, it's funny. And
I agree. I think even if you think the Minions are annoying, these movies' understanding of slapstick
yes,
and the comedic timing is really strong.
yes, agreed. And yeah, so then I never saw Despicable Me 3 I told the guys this before we started recording, but out of protest for it not being called Despicable 3. But
Or Despicable Me with the
yeah,
at the
the
end
E
of me is a
backwards or
3.
whatever. Yeah, something.
I think they did do that for the marketing, but they should have just put that in the title, like Despicable Me, but with the 3.
You know what? I
Yeah.
think you're right, because
I think so too,
the
yeah.
title comes up and the 3 spins around or whatever, and it's an E now or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but it should have just been Despicable 3. Anyway, I like the Minions. I was looking forward to seeing this, but I wasn't necessarily going to go out of my way to go to the theater to see it. And then a friend of mine was like, "Hey, I'm going to be going on Sunday. You want to come?" And I was like, "Sure." And so he got me a ticket, and then more friends ended up joining us. The group doubled, and then we also decided to go to IHOP before to do the Minions tie-in menu.
Oh boy.
We ended up not really ordering because none of the food actually looked very good. It was all banana pancakes and stuff, and I
Oh,
can't
yeah,
have bananas.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
horrible.
I was maybe going to get the burger, but the burger sounded awful. So what we did, we just got. They have the Cinnaminions, which are basically these just little cinnamon roll bites, and we got.
What's on the Minion burger?
It's the Gru burger. It's it's. I think it's called Gru's Evil Steak Burger. It's just it's so lazy. It has jalapenos and stuff on it. I don't know. It just didn't sound like my cup of tea. IHOP was
Or
fine,
your slice of burger.
right?
Oh
But
boy.
yeah,
Anyway, so that's I guess your relationship to
the
these
franchise.
movies. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I find myself in a similar camp to you. I guess I'm of split lines as far as Minions themselves, and that I do get very easily annoyed with how corporate they are. Like I said before, it's so clear that Illumination designed them to be as plushy and cute and franchisable and franchise friendly and marketable as possible to make as much money as possible. It's so clear they designed these characters to be that. But when I think about the Minions, I'm like, oh, I get so annoyed. This is just a low point for pop culture. But actually watching these movies or just watching these characters, they're fairly slight and amusing. It's really hard to get mad at the Minions proper because we said, they do honor goofy sort of Looney Tunes type slapstick comedy. They are fairly harmless as far as the actual comedy itself, and it's just kind of goofy and silly. It's not really anything. I especially nowadays where I find myself kind of in a similar camp to a lot of people where it's it is almost sort of nostalgic and simple, but it is also it's very very simple in a way that I don't find annoying at this point in my life. I think at an earlier point, around 2017 or 2018, if this movie had come out, I'd be more jaded and annoyed by it. But now I'm just kind of yeah, you know what? They are what they are, I guess. But that's not to reveal my opinion of the film. Do we just want to go into our actual opinions on this film since we're about half an hour into this?
Before we do that, I missed a
Okay.
couple. I think I missed the first few minutes of the movie because there's an issue at the box office. The guy in front of me had a flyer or something for a discounted ticket to Top Gun, and nobody knew what was going on. And so I'm just standing there waiting for the cashier to explain how the seating system works to this old guy. And then another cashier comes up and is like, "Do you guys have online tickets?" And then the three people behind me said yes, and they ran up to the thing and cut in front of me. So basically, I'm just standing here. And then when I finally got into the theater, it was the part where Bell Bottom was stole the map or whatever, and got into Evil Records. So what did I miss before that?
I think we already said it, but the minions mess up the Illumination logo and create the word minion, and then they cheer and get squished, and then the movie starts.
Oh, so I didn't really miss anything?
You
Nope.
didn't. It doesn't sound like you really missed anything. Yeah.
All right, cool, good. I was really mad.
Did you guys see the movie in 3D, by the way? I forgot that.
No, I saw it in Dolby,
No.
but not 3D.
Okay.
I saw it
'cause
in IMAX.
due to the timing of it, I had to see it in 3D. That was like the only showtime I could see it in, which is fine because I have A-list, so it didn't cost me extra. But it was very weird to see a 3D movie again. I
I
feel
heard
like
3D was solid for this.
it's all right. Yeah, I mean, like some moments they really punctuate. Other times, I kind of forgot I was watching in 3D. I will say the Avatar trailer looks fantastic in 3D. You guys
That
get a
sounds
chance
about
to
right.
see that.
I'm glad 3D is kind of coming back a little bit because I know a lot of people like to hate on 3D, but I always like it.
Sure. I like it in small dose. I like it now
Yeah.
where it looks like 3D is getting better, at least from my experience. Like it looks like they've improved upon it when it wasn't something that like people use just to make a quick buck outside of Disney, I think. Because they showed the trailer for Thor in 3D too, and just like it looks fine. Like it just looks like whatever.
I think
Like, they
it's
just kinda
always best with
converted.
animated properties.
Well, it's also
Like Avatar.
is it's always a matter of made for a 3D versus
Threw it into 3D.
converted. Yeah.
Anyway, Minions: The Rise of Gru. Matt, why don't you start with your opinion of the actual film, since you so eloquently described your relationship with this franchise?
Yeah, it was good. I don't know. I didn't really have much to say about it, but I enjoyed it just fine. The humor was good. It wasn't too long. I love a sub 90-minute movie. It didn't overstay its welcome. I will say it's partly because I was a little sleepy, but I did almost start to doze a little bit towards the end of the second act. But then once the third act got going, I was into it, and it I sat back up. But it was funny. It did what I think it was trying to do. So 10 out of 10.
All right, fair enough. What about you, Chris?
I was surprised by how often I laughed. Like I was laughing more than some of the kids in the. Honestly, there were more laughs from the adults than there were from the kids, from what I could tell.
Yeah,
Or
I
maybe,
laughed a lot at this one.
Maybe the movie or the adults were laughing harder than the kids were. Be able to hear the kids, but I thought there was some really funny stuff, like the whole airplane bit.
Yeah, the airplane bit was killing me.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, absolutely.
The high point, I think, of the film for me was the airplane bit.
I don't even know what made it so funny. I think it's just how incompetent they are.
Well, I mean, it's just it's really hard, I think, to screw up the Minions. Like catch me if you can your way onto a plane and become pilots and then just fly a plane to San Francisco is just such a simple, goofy premise.
Yeah.
It's they would have to try actively to make it bad for it not to work. Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah, the lady balks at these three little yellow creatures trying to get into a plane, but no, three little yellow creatures dressed as pilots.
That's fine.
Effortlessly, and it cuts to them in the cockpit, and it's wait, where are the pilots? It's
How did they get onto this plane?
Yeah, and I think that there's what makes that so funny is that they don't show you how they got into the plane. They
Yes,
just do.
exactly.
And then
Well,
Kevin
it's
or whatever, he's
Mhm.
swiping his hand. He's just pressing buttons, whatever, and they get safely to San Francisco.
Make it. That's all good.
I mean, I will say that something that did amuse me with both the first Minions movie and this one is that the relationship that other people have to Minion characters.
Mhm.
They always acknowledge that they're weird, and some of you point out that they look bad or goofy or weird, but no one really freaks out or questions them. They're just who's that odd looking little man over there? Or they're just I'm sorry, like we don't permit children into this establishment or whatever. Like they never, like no one really like balks at the idea of seeing a minion, even though they're clearly not human and they're little like freakazoid creatures. Like everyone just treats them as just what they are.
Yeah,
Which is something I find to be amusing about both these Minion spin-off films.
yeah, no, I agree with that, especially because like Gru's mom just treats him like his weird friends that come with like his weird roommates or whatever.
Yeah, I think she calls them
And-
his weird buddies or something.
Yeah, and she either doesn't know or doesn't care that he has an entire underground lair in the basement. Like, does she never go down there?
And you know who voiced the mom?
Julie Andrews.
Yeah,
Julie Andrews. Yeah,
Was that
So
a
now
new
we have-
character?
yeah. Oh yeah, there is
No,
another new
she-
character in this too.
Julie
a new
Andrews
Minion.
was the mom was in Despicable Me 2, wasn't
That's
she?
what I'm wondering. Is she's in another one?
Oh yeah, no, I think you're actually right.
I figured
think
she
she
probably
was.
was. But yeah.
Yeah, because
So
they
we
bring
got
back a lot of characters.
We got Julie Andrews as Gru's mom and
Mhm.
Julie Andrews as the Kraken in Aquaman, but still no Julie Andrews coming back as
for
Mary
a cameo
Poppins.
and Mary Poppins returns.
Which is forever going to be one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Ever.
Um,
Yeah, no, I like what you said about, people just kind of, they don't really reject the minions out of hand. Like the uncle who is given the stone just kind of like, hey buddy,
He
you
just-
hitch a ride on my thing. And
Yeah,
just-
becomes
just
friends.
gives him the stone. And he's like, hey, I'm going to miss you. It's like,
Yay,
I was like,
you wanna
this
go?
has to be like
Yeah.
a fever dream or something. But it's like, nope, it's real.
I want actually more scenes with the uncle, and I think that's Otto, right?
Otto,
that
yeah.
goes on. So Otto's a new character,
Yes.
right? Like I don't think Otto was in the previous Despicable Me movies.
I don't know if he's been named.
Uh,
I think he's probably like a similar design. This is the thing, you can't really tell for sure, but yeah.
Right.
This is
Well,
the
I like to
focus on
think
him.
that like he just was introduced to this film, but doesn't appear in the Despicable Me movies. So there is a decent chance that he'll have a traumatic and horrible death in Despicable or the Minions 3. But he is definitely the Kim Wexler of the Despicable Me franchise, and that I don't quite know what's going to happen between now and the events of the Despicable Me plotline.
Yes.
But yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, did you have anything else to say about the film itself, Chris? Before I jump into my thoughts.
Oh, I have plenty to say. But
Okay,
we
well,
can
yeah.
we can have a cadence. I don't have to say. I don't
Sure.
have to pour all my thoughts at the same time.
Sure.
There's a couple of stray thoughts just off the top of my head. Nunchucks was hilarious. She's
Yeah, I
like,
like that she could fly.
oh, yeah, she's like ascends when
Mhm.
she's
Yeah,
leaving.
no,
and-
I agree with Chris. I like the fact that she like confirms that God exists in this universe and that she has the power of God's will to allow her to fly and levitate from any given place. It's a fun gag. That was cracking me up throughout the film.
What about the part where a 12-year-old boy almost got torn in half by a clock tower?
Yeah, there's a lot of child torture in this film.
Yeah.
More so than I anticipated, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not just solely from that scene, but there's like another like a giant record scene where like
Yeah.
a kid's like spun,
Yeah.
to the point of delirium.
And he's like,
there's
he's
yeah.
like, if the song playing over the course of 40 hours doesn't kill you, these saw blades will.
right.
It's like, man,
That's
this is a
dropped pretty
child.
quickly. Yeah. Also, a child's like hung to his death. In a scene earlier than that, like forced to call his parents for ransom. Just
Oh,
a lot of,
yeah.
a lot of child torture. But other than that, a fairly accurate depiction of what my experience was like in San Francisco, I'll say.
No, all that, like, I was really surprised where it's like, oh, they're not going to just, shoot Gru with the stone and turn him into a whatever. And then it's like, nope, she's going to strap him between the hands of the clock tower, and he's going to be straight up jigsawed by the clock tower.
Yeah.
And it's like every minute the hand turns and Gru is like screaming and his clothes are ripping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. I like that we spend more time acknowledging that he is in quite a bit of pain as this is happening.
They don't lay it on. They don't put it lightly. He's clearly
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
He's like literally a minute away from
hmm
dying.
Or his having his limbs torn. Any case, Anything more broad about the film you have to say, Chris, before I can kind of just jump into my general thoughts?
The animation was beautiful.
Okay.
Like I was really surprised by how, like I've heard that
Yeah.
Lightyear was a little bit disappointing in terms of the fidelity of the animation.
I
No,
thought
the
animation-
visuals
Yeah, I
was
thought
pretty
Lightyear looked
spectacular in
fantastic.
Lightyear, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, story is where I think the issues come in with
Mhm.
Lightyear.
Okay,
Not to get back into that film, but yeah.
No, but I
but yeah,
agree.
no, the animation here was
yeah, go ahead.
really vibrant, really beautiful. I
Mhm.
especially liked the animation of the water in the crocodile scene.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the rain looked really good.
Mhm.
And when the Otto and the uncle come over the hill and everything's just laid out before them, just like everything about this movie just really pops.
Yes. Illumination really does a good job with their textures.
Yeah.
I've always felt that way. Yeah, it's such a unique style too, because it's like very like realistic, but the proportions are not like texture wise. It's very realistic. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but yeah.
No, I know what you're saying. Definitely. And then my last thought for now is I really loved the James Bond style opening credits.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. That's a good point. So yeah, just generally, what I'll say, because I think I'm maybe slightly more negative than both of you, but not to the point where I feel very critical of the film. I just think I find myself more middling about it compared to most of the other Despicable Me movies, only in the sense that I feel like it's kind of caught between being a Minions movie proper and Despicable Me 0.5. Like, the weirdest complaint that I had walking out of the film was like, I think this had too much plot for its own good. Like, I felt like there was too much developed as far as like the Vicious Six and Gru and Alan Arkin, the evil mentor and stuff, which is not bad, but I felt like I was kind of checked out when it wasn't the actual Minions stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely way too much going on in this movie.
Which is weird for what should just be a spin-off to like the Minions. Like, I think the first movie, for as much people complain about, I think it understood that just kind of needs like a loose ramshackle like road trip plot, just as an excuse to have the Minions do goofy, weird things. Like, I felt it moved a lot better in that film and was a lot more agreeable. Whereas, like, with this one, I felt like it was a lot of, like, kind of stop and starting, like, now we got to focus on Gru, young Gru. And now it's, like, back to the Vicious Six. And now let's see what the Minions are doing. They're learning Kung Fu. Isn't that cute? Anyway, back to Gru. And I think, I think the actual stuff we get with the Minions can be pretty amusing. Like we said, like, the plane sequence, I think, is a lot of fun. I like the stuff with Otto trying to get the, like, gold necklace back, like, traveling across the country. And just, like, pedaling his little legs out across on his little, like, what do you call those, tricycle bike or whatever. Like, I think all that stuff, the proper Minion stuff, as well as like
Big
how he
Wheel.
actually lost. Sorry, Big Wheel. How he actually lost the necklace for a pet rock, I think is a pretty fun side tangent in the film. Like, I think it's an amusing little like short film in it, especially when you see like Otto like fighting, what is that, like a geese or something that's flying for some reason.
It's a duck, I think.
Yeah,
but
that was
is that
the duck flying. That whole "It's a Long Story" was really funny.
Yeah. I also love that, like, because like the Minions, like, people assume they speak gibberish, but they're actually speaking like Spanish, French,
It's like
Italian,
European
and, like,
gibberish, kind of.
right. Well, like they I think they mostly speak like Spanish, because like I remember at one point,
I think it's French.
like Kevin, I think, is like pleading to Gru when he's like getting ready to abandon the Minions. He's like, por favor, like he's like trying, like being like, please. So it's like, he's not actually, like that's not gibberish. That is like, Spanish. But then he'll just like say
the Minionese. What it does is it borrows like phrases from a bunch of different languages,
right,
and that's
because they're like these like timeless beings of
Mhm.
I guess accumulated language from
they're indestructible.
generations and centuries and all that.
Yeah.
Anywho, but that's just my general thoughts. But I don't mean to be cynical. That's just kind of like walking away. I kind of felt like I think it's fine for what it is, but I also weirdly find myself feeling like I could have gotten more minion goofiness, and maybe that was just my expectations setting me up to fail. But it sounds like that wasn't an issue for you two, at least, which is good.
One thing I appreciate about these movies is their commitment to going absolutely nuts in the third act.
Well, certainly in this one, yeah.
Well, in the first Minions, you had Kevin, or who I get them all mixed up, but he turns into a giant or something.
Yeah. I think, well, Kevin's the tall, lanky one. Bob is a little cute, childlike one. And I think Stuart is like the one with one eye.
That's correct.
Is that? Yeah.
So if it was
Hey, I got him right.
Bob that went giant in the first one?
Is it? I mean, Bob's like the little like kid like one, like the one that always has like a teddy
Oh,
bear.
maybe it was, no, I think it was Kevin.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay.
The first
Yeah, I was gonna say Kevin. I think it was Kevin that got
Yeah.
really like kaiju size at the end of the first movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, like in the first one, you like Kaiju Kevin, and then in this one, it's like, oh, there's a super villains with like, oh my god, now they're ancient dragons or whatever. They're ancient, mythical beasts. I did love that Jean-Claude Van Damme played the lobster guy. But anyway, like it just kind of escalates so quickly, and Gru's going to get torn in half, and then the minions are. Maybe I'm just a child at heart, but when the minions channeled into their inner beast or whatever, and they like,
yeah,
their eyes turn red, and the fire blows up behind them, and like, so funny.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that kind of speaks to like the what's so childlike and amusing about these movies, that they just like go with like the goofiest idea they can. It's like, yeah, why not? But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Matt.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna say I always love a transformation sequence, and this movie had a fun one, and yeah, that's all.
I'm glad we could finally see a minion reproduce, which is something I've been looking forward to for 5 films now.
Yeah, I guess we need to address the chicken.
That was really funny,
and the fact that it stuck around afterwards. Like,
yeah,
but it's not in Despicable Me 3, so that leaves, or Despicable Me 1. I mean, so
eyes.
Maybe him and Otto like get into some sort of accident.
That's going to be
because we do see at the end of this movie. Not to get in the spoiler territory, but there is a funeral sequence, which means that the minions have to accept and process loss and grief.
Dude, minion funeral sequence was killing me. I
was it bad that was like one of the hardest laughs I got?
No, I think it was kind of supposed to
be.
in
the choir.
Yeah, the minions singing in the choir, and then like when they come out as pallbearers, and they're like flop, like it's like, how are they made? How is this real? This is a real thing. We're watching the minions messing up a funeral.
Absolutely body that coffin into the.
One of them falls under it. Like it's absurd. It's so funny.
Yeah.
My favorite is like, well, for one, you see the audience that attend the funeral, and it's like a bunch of characters from the film that had no relation to the character who died, which I found to be very funny. But also, just like the fact that they acknowledge that this goofy stuff's happening, but they're very respectful because it's a funeral. So they're just like watching, like with grim faces, the minions just like mess up this funeral.
Yeah, wasn't one of the attendees of the funeral the Rocket Pack guy that was after Gru?
Yes.
At the audition.
It was, and also the lady that teaches the minions kung fu was there for some reason.
I saw her. Who else was there? There was like 2 other people.
Just people that didn't even meet the character who died, which I find to be very funny. Anyway, sorry if that spoiled anything for anyone who hasn't seen the film yet.
Well, I think given that the Vicious Six are mice or whatever, and then Gru and the minions were there, everybody else there are people that we've seen in the movie so far, but never met the character that died.
Right, yeah. So, weird sequence, I'll have to admit, but one that was cracking me up, whether intentionally or not, just the absurdity of it.
I think it was intentional.
I don't know, because like you see during this, like Gru has like an emotional moment.
Yeah.
And then you just like see the minions like inquire and like you said, like having a heartfelt rendition of, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say that it starts out somber, and then are we spoilers? I feel like we're kind of.
You know what? Screw it.
Yeah, if people are watching at this point,
in 3, 2, 1. All right, this is officially spoilers for Minions: The Rise of Gru.
So it starts out somber, and then he sees that the character who's dead is not actually dead, and then they start being very slapsticky. Like, I think it's very deliberate that they show you this is not an actual funeral before the minions start spilling the coffin and all of that.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
but I mean, just like I was laughing even before that though, just for
Sure.
the absurdity.
Yeah, them in the choir. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And like singing like a heart. What song is it that Otto's singing?
You can't always get what you want.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So stuff like that I love for the minions. Like, I mean, it's cynical as I can sometimes be about them. Like when they do stuff like that, or like the plane sequence, like I find it
Can't
really
help
funny.
but laugh. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just they're so goofy. Like, I mean, like how can you not
little
appreciate
tater
that?
tots. You know, they're
Yeah, they're little like SpongeBob Twinkies that just go around
Mhm.
causing havoc. Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is there anything else we really have to say about the one thing about this movie is that it doesn't really have like thought-provoking things to say, as our tangent film conversation suggests. But Chris, you said you had quite a few things you wanted to say about the film, and I think now would be a good time to dive into those. I mean,
I'm
if
trying
not,
to
we can
think.
just okay.
I liked how the minions had little Kill Bill outfits when they were infiltrating Wild Knuckles hideouts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like how Gru's mom has a MLM for farting Tupperware.
That was funny. The minions at the Tupperware party was killing me too. Like ugh. The one,
It's
like,
like-
the one
yeah.
kept putting the tennis balls back in his shirt. Like,
And they keep falling
they
out.
kept like even at the end of the shot, it's like the camera panning up and they fall out again. It's just it's the little details.
And like the tennis balls falling out of the shirt. Like there's these two like maybe late teenagers pushing past me out of the aisle to go to the bathroom, whatever they're doing, and I'm laughing like I'm this 32-year-old man laughing like a lunatic at farting Tupperware. And this kid's gonna be like, this is the guy. I'm sitting like alone at the end of an aisle, and I'm just roaring with laughter at some of these things. And this 12-year-old girl's like turning around, looking at me like, what's going on with you? That was, I think overall the movie was fine, but there were moments that were really, really funny. I can't remember all of the parts where I laughed. I feel like there's something that I forgot that I was laughing really hard at, but I don't know what it was.
Related to the minions or something else in the film?
A lot of the stuff of Michelle Yeoh training the minions was really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me, and I'm sure I'm not the first person to make this comment, but like the
Everything
the
Everywhere
second
All at
best
Once.
movie this year with Michelle Yeoh and a rock with googly eyes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
even think of it. Well, I thought you just meant like the second best Michelle Yeoh kung fu movie
No.
of the year.
But
Specifically,
also
Soon to
it has
be-
the googly eyes
Yeah.
with the rock.
Yeah, I didn't even think, but yeah, soon to be the third best Michelle Yeoh kung fu movie of the year once Paws of Fury: The Legend of Hank comes out.
Oh gosh, is she in that one too?
Yeah, do you guys see the trailer for it before
Yeah,
the movie?
no, I see that trailer all the time. I just generally
Yeah.
tune out because it looks bad.
We're in a real Michelle Yeoh renaissance here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's gonna push to the edge. That's where she gets like, the big bucks. Hopefully,
You said it's
I've been doing a
Paw-
bit online where I'm like the one person who's looking forward to Paws of Fury because like
Classic.
no one I know, like even the kids like in the audience who are like laughing like hyenas when the Lyle Lyle Crocodile
Oh my
trailer
gosh.
came on.
That
We're
movie
dead
looks
silent.
horrible.
When, I mean, I'm not here to disparage that film. I'm just saying that like
Well, I'm
There are
here to
kids that
disparage it. Lyle Crocodile looks really bad.
I just think that
Javier.
like they were like laughing hysterically when that trailer comes on. Paws of Fury trailer comes on. Dead silence from the audience. Like no one could care. And I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna pretend to be the one guy who's just like Paws of Fury, guys. Let's do it.
I'll go see that
So-
if you will.
I'm not planning to see that film, but if
Well,
you want to see it, let me know how it is.
Well, it's from the director of The Lion King.
Is it really? Which one?
Rob Minkoff.
Oh gosh.
I don't think that's true because I know they switched directors midway through.
Well, he's one of them. It's directed
he?
by Rob Minkoff, Mark Koitzier, and Chris Bailey.
You know what that movie is a loose remake of, by the way?
Which one?
Paws of Fury.
Paws of Fury is a remake of.
It's a loose. Don't look it up. Just I want you to guess what that's a loose remake of. I'll give you a hint. It's not Enter the Dragon.
Is it Seven Samurai?
No.
Oh, what is it?
You're not going to guess it because it's not a martial arts movie.
It's
Matt, do you have a guess? Do you want me to just tell you? Or you want to keep guessing?
Yeah, just I don't have a guess. I'm curious.
Okay. It's a loose remake of Blazing Saddles.
Oh my god!
According to Wikipedia, it was originally going to be called Blazing Samurai, and it was supposed to come out initially in 2014.
Whoa, that explains a lot.
So,
Woof.
there you go. I guess I'll do it as far as our conversation of the Minions. Actually, that doesn't do it because we haven't played the Rotten Tomatoes game. Are you guys familiar with the Rotten Tomatoes game?
Yes, right. We got to guess it, right?
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to pull up. Hopefully, you guys haven't seen it already. This will be my first time. Okay. So I'll let Matt guess first. So what's going to happen is I'm going to pull up the Rotten Tomatoes score for Minions: The Rise of Gru.
Wait, have you seen it yet,
first? I'm looking at it right now. It's the first time I'm
I was
seeing
going
it.
to say, if you hadn't seen it,
Oh, yeah, we could have let Chris do it. Oh, well.
Shoot.
Well,
well.
I'll still play,
I was going to say, yeah, Matt can play. Well, Chris, have you seen either the cinema score for this film or the Letterboxd score? Because that's what we're going to guess next.
No, I haven't seen those.
Okay, so at least you'll be able to do honest guesses for those. But first, all right, so Matt, since you haven't seen either the critic score or audience score, I want you to guess what you think the score is for both at this time.
Okay, so this is Rotten Tomatoes, so like general critics.
It's Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm going to say that this has ballpark, let's say 77%. Feel like three-quarters of people like this movie.
And what about the audience score?
Audience score, I'm going to say, is probably people memeing it, so it's probably in the 90s. Let's say 94.
Okay. Chris, your answer is going to be biased, but what is your guess for what the score is at the moment?
70% critics, 80. I haven't seen the audience score, so I'm going to say 87%.
Well, you are closer, Chris, in terms of the critic score, because right now it is at 72%. But Matt was closer as far as the audience score, because right now is at 91%.
Wow.
So there you go.
I got
Suffice
my
it to
finger
say,
on the pulse, baby.
Suffice it to say, people are liking the movie. Like it's a hit. And also, I didn't even mention before, it made, I think, $125 million throughout the 4-day weekend.
Wow.
So,
and I was 8 of those dollars, or whatever it cost on A-List.
Now it's time to get. So, you guys, are you familiar with Cinema Score?
Yeah.
I don't think I am.
All right, so Cinema Score is a weird collective of people in Las Vegas who, for some reason, constantly get polled about the newest films, and as soon as they get out of the theater, they give a grade for, like, if they saw Top Gun, like, what did you think about that movie? Loved it. That's an A+.
A through F.
Or they see, or if they see Darren Aronofsky's Mother, they're like, well, what did you think about that? I didn't get that at all. F.
Yeah. What else recently got an F that was like really weird?
I don't. I know Men. People thought was going to get an F, but it got like a D.
So this is a specific group of critics every time, or it's pulling
they're not even
it's
critics.
the general public.
They're just some.
Yeah.
It's just some people in Vegas.
But
I don't know why
is it
their
the same
opinion
people
matters.
every time?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
So they're
but I like to
pulling
think
in
it
Vegas.
is.
Okay.
You're like you come out of the movie, you're just a regular
And there's like
guy
a guy who's like, "What do you?" Yeah. Okay.
Like,
Okay. And it's the
how it's
average.
the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like it would be like if like when you go to like the screenings with me and there's like the general audience people.
Yeah.
If they like just polled those audiences and just like,
Gotcha.
what grade would you give that movie? And like the average score they give it is what they'd post.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, the one that always confused me was Killing Them Softly. Killing Them Softly got an F.
Well, it doesn't confuse me, but I mean, yeah, anything that like is like kind of like dense and methodical and like politically heavy is going to probably get an F, even though Killing Them Softly is a good movie.
That's a great.
So what we're guessing what
I'm going to revisit that film.
We're guessing what they gave Minions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So you want to? Well, Chris guessed second, so let him guess first this time.
A-.
Okay. What about you, Matt?
I don't really have much of a gauge. I like A-, but I don't want to do the same as Chris, so I'll just say A.
All right, Matt, you are right on the money. It's an A flat.
Ah,
Continuing the tradition
Finger on
of
the
Finger on the pulse.
Finger on the pulse.
continuing the tradition of Illumination films getting A or A- scores, as Sing 2 did this past December. I don't know, whoever they pull for the cinema score in Vegas, they just love these Illumination movies. Like, they always get A's. They just walk out of the movie singing.
Well,
basically.
these movies in general, like the more mass market movies, always get the higher scores. Always, like.
Sure.
I think I've seen one animated film get less than like a B+ or something. So,
I mean, these could just be like parents or whatever that are taking their kids in. They're just like, the kids enjoy it. It's like, hey, if the kids are having fun and, you know, nobody's upset, then that's an A movie for me.
so
right
like I said,
there.
hey, get out of my face. I want to go home and eat.
Yeah. These kids are hungry. They need some chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I remember there was a guy outside of Captain Underpants, and I thought it was going to be a cinema score like A or whatever. Then I had to answer like a 10-page questionnaire. It's like, what did you think was the like? I had so many questions. I was like, oh my god. But I did like the movie, and I said that to him.
Captain
I was like,
Underpants was
here's,
great.
here's your tablet.
Yeah, Captain Underpants, underrated film.
Yep,
I was going
I
to
love
say,
that
I
one.
would love to be a part of a cinema score thing. I was in Vegas briefly this year, but I was at a layover. But I was tempted to try to figure out where the cinema score office was and get involved and tamper the score for one recent film, though.
Yeah,
That
just
did
give it
not
an
pay
F
off.
and just like throw things
Yeah.
into disarray.
Just read the room to see like everyone giving an A. Just be like, you know what? I'm going to give that film an F.
Yeah.
Just see what happens to the score.
And the
Anyway.
movie is like a re-release of like The Master or something. Actually, that would probably
Well,
get a low cinema score.
Maybe, I don't know. I'd be hard pressed to give The Master an F because I think that is a true A film. But
Which is
in any
why I
case-
would give it an F. Because
Well,
I love
okay.
it so much.
Oh, okay, I see.
Chaos.
I think I follow.
Minions.
I think I follow your logic. Anyway, letterbox score. Matt, you're gonna guess first. What do you think it is out of 5?
Okay, so this is like Cinephiles then, because it's Letterboxd.
This is anybody who
Yeah.
has a letterbox account.
and has reviewed
If they have
this.
seen the film, or if they lie and say they've seen the film,
Right.
and they're
Plus-
giving it a
Plus the meme. The meme stuff.
Right,
Like, so
right.
like this is
Any score-
This is no man's land.
Yeah, there's no guessing
Any-
this.
any score between half a star and 5 stars.
Right, because as Chris pointed out, even like people who are jokingly giving this 5 stars, people who are there's no because of that I'm going straight down the middle, 3 stars. I'm saying that's what people
Okay.
are. Yeah,
Are you saying 3.0 or like a 3.0?
3.0, 3 stars.
Okay, 3.0. All right. How about
I'm
you,
gonna
Chris?
go 3.5.
All right. Though we have designated Matt to have the finger on the pulse,
Shoot.
it's actually Chris that is closer this time. It is a 3.7
Yeah.
as of this recording.
Now
So,
I
there you
have
go.
my finger on the pulse.
You've got your finger on the chaos of Letterboxd. I don't even have fun with that, you know.
Even though it didn't quite reach 4, the highest rating at the moment is 5 out of 5, which lays credence to your theory, Matt or Chris, that people are just going to Letterboxd and typing 5 for the meme of it. So there you go.
Well, I mean, and then I went onto the Reddit discussion of the movie after I got out, and it was, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it was really fun. I enjoyed it." And some people were saying, "It was fun. I don't really like the Minions, but I was okay." And some people were saying, "I was a boy, but now I'm a man," and stuff like that. So lots of, like Matt said, just the chaos of the memes and whatever.
The kids who
It's
grew
just-
up on Minions.
Yeah, kids who grew up on Minions.
Ah,
There you go. I'm not going to come up with a better pun for this recording. So, you know what? Let's wrap it up the way we would. Ain't ogre till it's ogre. I'm Will.
I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And remember, kids.
It ain't ogre.
Till it's Minions.
There we go. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I should have said it ain't ogre.
Ah, damn.
No.
Oh, well.